neglected those things as I got older. But when I understood what my parents were trying to teach me and where they were trying to lead me and where they were trying to take me, I started to get understanding about who I was and what my responsibility was as a person in my own neighborhood. Uh, the rule that one of the things I would like to pass on to a younger generation, God first. That's the number one thing. That's the most important relationship that you're ever going to have in your life. God first, then family and friends, loved ones, and then yourself. Okay? So you have to have your priorities straight. You have to have your head on straight. You can't let peer pressure determine what you will and won't do. What you might want to do may not be the popular thing to do. This young man might be getting pressure from God, man, why don't you wear your pants? Like, no, I'm not going to do that. So it's about having some values, having character about yourself. And character to me is, how do you act when nobody else is watching you? That's how you determine what kind of character you have and who you are as a person. When nobody else is around, do you still carry yourself the way that you would carry yourself in front of your peers or in front of your parents? Do you respect other people? You know, do you respect yourself as being young ladies? Do you young men respect yourself as being young men, as well as respecting the young ladies that's in your peer group, in your class, or wherever you might be? How do you talk to them? You know, and and the men and the young ladies, to me, there's no difference. I hear young ladies all the time, you know, out here, and they refer to each other as bees. That something's wrong with that picture to me, you know. And young ladies demand that you're treated like a woman. Demand that you're treated with respect. Don't let a young man talk to you any kind of way, using any kind of language towards you, and you act like it's okay. No, it's not okay. And once you establish who you are within yourself, then other people will start to respect that. And young men, don't you all do it. You respect yourselves as well. You know, not only, everybody in here has, I started to say sisters, but that's not true, but you do have a mother. And some of you have cousins, females. So would you talk to your cousins or your mother or your sister like that? You know, young ladies, would you speak like that to your aunt, you know, calling her a B or H or W, however you want? You know, these are things that that are decided within your own mind. Every young man and young lady has to be persuaded in their own mind what they are going to do and what they're not going to do. Education. Don't put yourself in a pigeonhole. Don't put yourself in a box and don't take advantage of everything that's available to you. If you look around this room, if you could imagine this room, windows being everywhere, and all of them are opened, right? They're all open. At some point in time, you can't put a age on it, but at some point in time, I call them windows of opportunity, okay? And some point in time, these windows start to close. Make sure you take advantage of every opportunity that you have. And that was one of the problems with my generation. I can't say with my generation alone, but with me personally, I'll use myself as an example. The only reason I went to college was to play basketball. That's it, you know. And I've told my wife that, and that was the worst mistake that I've ever made. I was a decent student. But what I cared about pursuing, other opportunities, I had so many opportunities available to me, But I had this tunnel vision. All I wanted to do was run up and down the basketball floor and do this and do that. But the thing about that is your generation rappers, my generation was singing, still have sports out here. But this is the truth. Entertainers come a dime a dozen. Do you understand how cheap that is? A dime a dozen. You have to take advantage of every opportunity that you have, and once you make a decision, you need to see it through. Long-term, short-term goals. You can have all kinds of goals, but make sure that they're realistic and make sure that you're doing it for yourself and not for someone else. Not your father, not your mother, not for your boyfriend or girlfriend. You're doing this for yourself. And I know I'm talking a lot. I've gotten off subject, but at the same time, just certain things I've always told my students, especially the young ladies. You don't need to have any babies out of wedlock. I am a dinosaur, okay, and I accept that. If how in the world are you going to take care of a kid? You're uneducated. The young man is uneducated, and now you got a kid, so you got babies raising babies. Young ladies, please do what is necessary, and I'm not talking about any protection or anything like that. Again, I'm talking to the young men too. I really am. The only safe sex is abstinence. Abstinence. Let your girlfriends and homeboys and all that talk about you, whatever, but in the long run, that is the only surefire way, and I can't say it any other way. I refused when I was teaching to teach safe sex. But that's part of my makeup. That's part of my spirituality. And the thing is, the only safe sex to me is abstinence. And I will tell you what I heard my mother tell my sisters and cousins. Keep your skirt down, your legs crossed, okay? Young men, do what you're supposed to do, because until you're in a position where you can handle being a father and a grown man, all of y'all got friends out here that's probably got kids. And it's getting to the point where we look up and the neighborhood is just, no education. Where you going without an education? And I'm not just harping on this about the education. You might want to be a carpenter. You might want to be something else other than getting a degree. College is not for everybody, but do something positive that you like doing so you will be able to take care of yourself. Don't worry about taking care of others. Worry about taking care of yourself. And then you cannot help somebody else unless you can help yourself. You got to help yourself first. And I know I got off subject, so I'm going to give you this microphone, and you can ask me the questions that you want to ask, and I will promise I will stay on subject on task from now on.
When did you move in the Woodlawn community? When?
Moved here July 17, 1994. And I was a young woman then, ready to accept the challenges of having my own home or my property. That's what I used to call it, my property. And then but it was such a wreck. Every day there was another problem. When I moved into my house, there was a big hole in the wall the first day. Then the next day it was, we had problem with the water, and then it was problems with the roof, and then it was problems with something else, So it was a everyday thing. Every day something was going on. I hope I'm answering where you want to go with this.
approximately 20 years
Yeah.
being in Woodlawn, and we've seen a lot of changes. We've seen a lot of positive changes, and you know, that's been very uplifting.
And I have never, ever, I had God in my life. The reason I moved into Woodlawn was because I go to Apostolic Church of God. And I knew through a bulletin that I had read that the area was going up. It was on the up and up, you know. And I wanted to be a part of revitalizing a community that was going to be black people, you know. And it took a little longer than I anticipated. So initially I thought, oh, 5, 10 years, you know, things are gonna turn over, but it didn't happen that quickly. As a matter of fact, it's 20 years later, and it has not happened totally. You know, your parents would know more about that than you guys, I'm sure.
Next question.
Next question, okay.
Why are you still living in the community of Woodlawn? Why are you still living in the community of Woodlawn?
We love the neighborhood. We love where we live. We love the neighborhood. We love our house. We just love the neighborhood. That's why we're still here. That's why we're still here, because we love the neighborhood.
In 2004, I retired. In 2004, I also had a fire in my house. And I want you to know that